Fallout, I'm like, hey, there's a show on Amazon that people are going crazy about. It's called Fallout. Let's watch it. She's like, all right, what's it about? I'm like, we'll just watch it. And it was a great experience. We crushed it in like a week.
That's yeah. I think that's
good.
It's such a thing that I want to hammer home too. Like, you don't have to be a fan of the games to get enjoyment out of the TV show. Like, they have, obviously, if you're a fan of the games, you'll understand a lot of the references and lore and stuff that's going on. But with the world itself that they're kind of presenting on screen, it all makes sense. They're not jamming any fan servicey references in there that feel like out of place or don't fit. It's
Rogue One.
Yeah. It's
yes.
Everything you see on screen makes sense in the world that they're presenting.
War never changes. Hello, wasteland maggots, and welcome to the Nomads of Fantasy podcast. This is episode 131, and I am Paladin Dave of the New York State Brotherhood of Steel. With me this weekend
The
in
Buffalo
the Wasteland,
chapter.
I have Brandon.
Us cowfolk, we take it as it comes.
Giddy up, my lord.
Lord.
And also with us from the swamps of the shady sands, we have Eric.
Sometimes a feller's got to eat a fella.
And I'm sweating my balls off.
I'm sure that
Holy
audio
crap.
is going to be awesome.
Oh, that is hot in there. Yeah, if you can't
It
tell,
was in a massive plastic Brotherhood of
Power
Steel
armor. Yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty.
Where did you get
What?
that from? Was that from Fallout 4?
I think it was Fallout 4 pre-order.
Yeah.
But
It was the new. Yeah, it was the. Yeah.
it's a little
I wanted that,
Okay.
but it was expensive as
pretty
hell.
classy. It's a
It's
T60.
pretty
T60.
fucking
It's got a
legit,
light
man.
and a voice changer in it, but I left the batteries in it for too long, and it
Mm.
corroded all my terminals. So I've got some.
T6
I've got
isn't
some-
that the model that's in like Fallout 2 or
Maybe
something?
T45. I don't know. It's one of them.
Okay.
It's an old power armor helmet, and you got to get the old Pip-Boy out for such an occasion, just in case. But
Hey,
yeah.
listen, I appreciate the effort. It matches well with your Pip-Boy, your on your arm, your
Dave is
Vault
all
Tech hoodie, blue
Fallouted.
and yellow. I love it. I'm sure the people that are
in the
doing.
background.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure the people
yeah.
on the audio version of this episode appreciated the plastic muffled sound of your.
Hey, plug the
Yeah.
YouTube channel, youtube.com/@nomads of fantasy. If you want to see,
good
if you want
reminder,
to see
we do
Dave
video.
in the Fallout get up there, the power armor.
Yeah. I only get to bust this out so long. Thank God the show was good, or else this stuff would just be sitting on the shelf, just collecting dust. So
Yeah, it's a sex
You don't
toy.
just-
Come on. We all
I
know
was
you
gonna
wear
say,
that.
you don't just throw it on sometimes just to feel
No.
like you're in the
I mean,
wasteland.
this Halloween, at
go to
least,
the store.
will be. I've already got my stuff taken care of this Halloween because people will actually know who
Oh,
the Fallout
that's a
Fallout
good
suit
point.
is. I bet you will see a lot of sexy vault dwellers.
Did
For
you?
For Halloween?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally think
Oh yeah.
they have
Of course.
the ability to capitalize on like Halloween with this lore.
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
See, I think
When you first played Fallout 4, were you actually using the Pip-Boy as intended with like the phone app in there and the map and everything?
I tried to, but I think my phone at the time, I had like an iPhone. I don't know. It was the big one,
Mm.
and it did not quite
Plus.
fit in there. So,
Just jam it in
Oh,
there.
okay.
unfortunately, no. The secondary use of the screen was pretty sweet, though.
Yeah, that was
have
pretty,
a phone
pretty
used
cool
as
back
a
in the
map
day.
in game, but that
Dave, I
is,
gotta say,
a lot of Fallout.
you're the Fallout guy. This
Sure.
is a Dave episode. Dave has always been a Fallout fan. He's been a fan for ever since I've known Dave.
Pretty
Dave
geeked.
just this is his thing. I'm on the outside. I don't really connect with this franchise. Don't really play the games. Don't really care for them. But the TV show, I thought it was great, like most people. But Dave knows the lore, and I just gotta say, this is one of those worlds that it makes this episode, like this podcast, fun because there's just a lot of world building that Fallout has done right.
It is
And
unique
again, as an
shit, yeah.
outsider, even though I play video games, I've just not been into this. But I finally got to experience this world, and I did it through the TV show. So I don't know if
I think a lot of people are sharing that same experience with you. Even people who have never touched the games before. I think this is such a great introduction into the world of Fallout, and it's like a great advertisement for the games too, as to why you should care about this world. I kind of fall somewhere in
between.
between.
Played any of them?
What's that? Fallout games?
Have you played any of the games? Yeah.
Have I played any of the games? We just streamed Fallout 76 on
I know
Friday.
that, but three or four.
I fall somewhere in the middle between Brandon and Dave as far as Fallout fandom. 3 I absolutely loved. The only one that I've actually finished is 3. I think I've played maybe all of them. I've even played like 1 and 2. Just a little bit. I put, but there's like a timer.
Nothing like 3, Vegas, and 4, right? Because those games are first-person adventure games, like RPG games, like Elder Scrolls, like Skyrim and Oblivion. But the
first two are like CRPG, very hardcore. By the people who,
but it's a totally different studio that made it, right? Did Bethesda
it's not Bethesda.
buy them, or did they make?
They bought the IP. Yeah.
Yeah, but they bought it from Interplay in the early 2000s when Interplay was having some
Dave,
issues.
do you know anything about like the creation of Fallout just as an IP? Do you know anything about it? Because I don't. I literally just know Fallout 1, 3 came out and people went gaga over it, and then Vegas came out and 4 came out, and then the 76 came out.
This is a little tight here. It's hard to type and use a keyboard when you have a Pip-Boy on your arm. Like, they don't really design these very well to be used with like.
Dude, the whole time I'm watching the show, I'm thinking, like, how are you? Does that not feel heavy after a while? I don't like having a phone in my pocket.
It's like having a brick on your wrist.
They made them actually
that
smaller,
it's made out of metal?
Smaller on the show than they are in like the actual game in real life.
Probably some like aluminum alloy.
UI.
Aluminum alloy, super light,
Yeah, I think they made them thinner.
Okay.
But as far as history for the game, no. I just remember playing the original 2 back on like PC back in the day. And then when it came over to Fallout 3, like that was,
it's kind of like the. I feel like it's kind of
franchise,
kind of like the GTA evolution. GTA 1 and 2 started out like top down, but then it's fully realized in like GTA
the
3,
first 2
fully open world.
Yes, it's totally what it is. That is insane, and then they go and become like these big hits. So
the original Fallout game,
great comparison.
I enjoyed it, but it has the thing that I hate the most in video games: a timer. So the whole the first Fallout game, the whole conceit of that first game, which there's a reference to it in the TV show, is there's a broken water chip. So basically, everyone's going to, they're not going to have any water, and everyone's going to die of thirst if you don't find a new water chip and bring it back in time.
Okay.
So if the timer runs out, you lose. Game over. You got to start over. Which sucks.
Dang. Not even broken up into like, yeah. That's cool that you guys played the first 2 though.
Those first 2 sold, like the first one sold 600,000 units. It came out in 97. 2 came out in 98 and only sold like 120. And then there was a side one, Brotherhood of Steel game. But then Fallout 3 came out in 2008 and sold 12 million copies. New Vegas sold 11, and then Fallout 4 sold 25. So,
oh my god,
they're up over 55 million copies sold since.
Yeah, nothing to sneeze at.
Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you bust out? So Bethesda makes they're huge. They're a big name in gaming. If you don't know, but Bethesda makes also a really popular franchise called Elder Scrolls. And they are named individually, but their biggest one, I believe, was Skyrim.
Oh, what numbers did landslide?
I'm just curious. I just want to know how big Fallout was, because for them to say, "Hey, this needs to be a TV series or a movie," like, is a big deal. So studios are looking at which ones have a good good fan base. I'm just curious, like when Bethesda makes Fallout and it's those numbers were pretty good. I thought. How much did I don't know, a Skyrim and Oblivion? Those are the big games for.
Morrowind sold 4 million.
Okay.
Oblivion sold 9.5.
Okay, still.
Fallout 3 sold 12.
Yeah.
Skyrim sold 30. Fallout 4 sold 25.
Dude, okay, so
Skyrim,
honestly,
hold on. Skyrim sold 30 across everything, or the original release.
This is.
I'm just
pulling this from video game wikis.
There's no way, because Fallout or Skyrim
not.
is on every fucking platform that ever existed. Like
but maybe like that initial early generation run, like PS3, Xbox, PC. Maybe
no, that game was huge even on the initial release, and it only got bigger over time.
Okay.
I would be shocked if it was only 30 million.
Elder Scrolls Skyrim has sold more than 60 million copies across every gaming platform, excluding mobile. Okay. 7th best-selling game of all time. 60. I mean, it's Skyrim.
Yeah.
It's okay. I was just curious. So
it's up there with the Elder Scrolls series, like as far as what it was putting out, and it's some of those days. Like, I mean, ever since Bethesda took over, it's just kind of became like the back and forth with Elder Scrolls, where they started switching between them and kind of going.
Do you guys remember the hype for Fallout 4 when they announced it? Like, it was insane. And they did it in such a cool way, because they were radio silent on, a sequel to Fallout. I mean, there was New Vegas, but that was Obsidian, so it was sort of a spin-off. It wasn't a, quote-unquote mainline game. So Fallout 3 was this beloved game, and they had to wait. When did Fallout 3 come out? Like
2008.
So, and Fallout 4 came out in, 2014 or something? 2015?
Which one?
Fallout 4. So 2014, I think, somewhere around there.
It was 18. Wow.
But so it was a long gap.
Really that old?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Fallout 76 came out in 2016. So.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking. Fallout 76. Yeah. Fallout 76 is the online crafting, just online version.
It's like
an
MMO version of MMO. I don't know. I don't think it doesn't feel like an MMO to me, but
that's still.
Gonna be honest, Dave. Kind of meh.
On 76?
Kind of meh. But I don't like MMOs, I think. I don't know. Nothing against that game. Just when we played it, when I was playing with you guys, I'm just like, this is just like watered down versions of the real thing.
You came in at level 4 and you didn't follow any story quests. It's just like jumping into Skyrim and
good point. But just the visuals weren't really that good, and like I don't know, just
it's a 7-8-year-old game.
Yeah, it's fun.
Sure.
They're still updating.
But I played a bit of Fallout 4, and I thought that wow, this actually feels pretty good. Like it,
that single player games.
That's why I think I was more impressed with that, and I like that better than 3, man. And I know, sorry, I
dude,
over you, but
no, 3 was what got me into the series, and that made me a Fallout fan. But so I mean, that's why I was like I was saying before, still one of the best like E3 moments that sticks in my mind was when they announced Fallout 4, and they're like, it's coming out in October. Like it was like 4 months away. So that was a huge moment for such an anticipated game. Like it's coming out really soon. So yeah, that definitely sticks in my mind for sure.
Nice. It's good with the games. We've all had some history to them.
Yeah, it's all to say that there's a breadth of content for them to cherry pick from for the TV show. This world is so fleshed out.
You're walking a line of video game adaptation,
right?
TV.
I want to talk about this.
How weird it can get sometimes.
I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this fucking era that we finally are getting, dude. Ever since I was like 10 years old or 8 years old or whenever that Mario movie came out in the early 90s, and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? The fuck are they doing? I know it's like stupid. Yeah. The Mario Brothers, and he's jumping on like fucking mushrooms and turtle like thing. I get it. There's not much to go off of, but the way they made it and everything else in the 90s, from Tomb Raider to Blood Rain to Max Payne, all those movie adaptations that we got were trash.
What
It
Mortal
was like
Kombat?
they took like it's like, hey, here's Mortal Kombat. You know, even, I'm sorry, but like that was okay. The first Mortal Kombat's okay, it's watchable,
It's a fighting
but it's
game.
still and. But even recently, I still think they don't understand. They didn't respect video gamers. So these studio execs or whoever it was, the director, everybody, they just showed up and they just phoned it in because it's a video game. What I mean, honestly, but no. Finally, with the Super Mario Brothers animated movie that came out, the Last of Us series that came out, to some extent, I think the Halo and the Twisted Metal TV series have also done fairly well. They're not horrible. They're not being praised, but they're solid. But like Last of Us and now finally Fallout. Now, Last of Us had some buzz around it. I think Fallout, as popular as it is with video gamers, I don't know if the general geek zeitgeist or whatever really, I don't know if other people were familiar with Fallout to the point where like, but when it came out, I think real quick, people are like, hey, yo, this Fallout show is good, and you don't even need to know anything about the video games to watch it, just like Last of Us. I think like we're finally there. These adaptations are good. I don't know. I just wanted to hit on that because it makes me excited about the future. It's like MCU all over again. Like finally the superhero movies, like at their worst, they're good. At their worst. I want that for video game adaptations.
Well, I think before, like they were running into some weird stuff with like they didn't know how to. I don't think before they were just trying to like, all right, he jumps and punches bricks in this video game, so this movie he's just got to jump it. Like they're trying to do 2 1 to 1, and there was
a good story,
and so figuring out how to build something in that universe and make it feel real is the key part.
You know what really clicked for me? I think you watched this as well, Dave. But the Kind of Funny interview with Todd Howard and him talking about the development of the TV show.
Yeah.
He was saying that they were treating this as an entry in the franchise. And I think that's what the big difference here is. They're not taking existing characters and trying to make a story out of them. They're taking this rich world that they've built in the video games and putting interesting characters and building, interesting sets and set pieces around these characters in a TV show. They're taking this, like I said, it's all about the world of Fallout. Like there's some fun characters, but like you're not really remembering many of the characters in the games. You're remembering your adventures out in the wasteland and what that felt like. And that's what they fucking weird shit's going on. You meet these weirdos along the way, and that's what they tried to convey in this show, is just building upon that world and making you feel like you're kind of along on this adventure with these characters. It helps that they made some interesting characters to go along with it, and they're new characters, so you don't have any baggage to go along with them from the games, so you have no expectations. But I think that's really what made the show for me. Sure.
Well, and it's they work so closely with the studio too. Like in that interview, he said that they were literally sending 3D asset files from the game to the studio to like 3D print out and like build the sets with, and like he sat down at the overseer's desk for an interview and was flipping through papers, and they like actually like wrote out like the overseer's schedule and like notes that the overseer would have, like so in depth and so like precise and detail oriented and focused on this stuff. Like it's great.
And a big difference, like you were mentioning, Brandon, this was also made by fans of the game, not some like studio executives that are like
fucking fans.
Not some studio executives that are like, oh, let's take this video game franchise and make a movie out of it, and then throw some like random director at it that has no experience with the games.
We got The Rock. Like no, don't fucking do that.
That's the Borderlands game. The Borderlands movie coming up.
I'm sure that Borderlands movie will be good because I think we're in a good area. I think there's finally like a good, like it's gonna be good. But I'm just like, that's like the old way of making. It's like the Sonic. It's like the old way of making these like adaptations. I like this.
Dude, you can tell that
Sonic.
You can tell that
Sonic
the people that
they're trash. Sorry.
You can tell the people that made the show cared about what they were making. They cared about the franchise that they were working on with.
I legit got chills when I saw Todd Howard's name in the credits.
Yeah, executive producer. Yeah.
Like I
They
would just
work
to
so
see him
closely with
there,
him.
and I'm like that's because I want to see the Nintendo logo.
And like the thing
in
is,
front of the Mario movie. I want to see these people out, and it gives me chills because like they're involved. They're
the
finally
thing with that is,
involved.
the creator of the franchise as we know it today has his name attached to it, so he has faith and confidence in this TV show. He wouldn't
Correct.
put his name on it if he didn't.
Right. Remember
believe
George
it.
R. R. Martin when
It
he
helps when
was
you have
on Game of
Jonathan Nolan.
Thrones?
Yeah, that too.
What's that?
too.
It helps when you have Jonathan Nolan attached. to the
Well,
project.
yeah.
Like,
So Jonathan Nolan
things are gonna get done correctly.
correct. He did very well with Westworld in the beginning,
Yeah.
at least. Like he knows how to put together a show.
Mhm.
He knows how to tell multiple storylines very well. He's got that ability in his writing. You know, he helps write movies for his brother Christopher Nolan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He's
So-
been involved in a lot of his movies.
Memento, Dark Knight series, Interstellar.
Yeah. So this is a very, very talented person in the industry, and for him to maybe he played fucking Fallout, and he's just like, dude, I got an idea, like, you know, and he's just like, I'm gonna go and make another TV series, and either way, he gets character development, multiple stories, world building, music, and tone and person. I think he nailed all these things. And again, not the biggest Fallout fan, and I'm a gamer. Don't play those games. I tried them, not into them, but this show I think did a better job, at least for me. And I'm like, man, this makes me excited about the Fallout universe.
And another thing that is important to point out is it was Bethesda and Todd Howard's idea to make this show, to make Fallout into a TV series. It wasn't some, movie executives coming to Todd Howard and be like, can we use your franchise? They saw it out like, okay, we want to make a Fallout TV show. Let's go find the right people to make it.
Okay.
And that's the way to do it. It should come from the people making the games, not the other way around.
Because then they're harmonious. Then they work together. Like
assets from the game in the show. Like they kind of like when I heard that, I was just like, "Ugh."
Well, you can tell like
with Star Wars,
so authentic,
with
too.
the Battlefront games, like
Yeah,
they
like-
look like the
those-
sets. Like I love that.
those are
Like
perfect.
they respect each other. They are working together to build.
And you
Hey,
like
game, like Star Wars. Here's your games. Here's your movies. Your anime show. And like Fallout. Here's your TV series. Here's your video game.
in the show they pull out a stim pack. That's exactly how it should look. They pull out a 10mm pistol. That's how it looks in the game.
Right.
That helps it. That helps the believability of it too. It's not some like
don't hire someone
designer
Don't get like
that's trying to like modernize it or make it their own.
yeah,
No,
don't
just
get
take
Tim
what it
Burton,
looks like
and
in
Tim
the
Burton
game.
did his Tim Burton version of Fallout. Like no, motherfucker. Like,
Oh God, I do not want to see that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that'd be right.
So I was gonna ask you guys your general impressions, but from what I'm getting at, it sounds like you both had a pretty good time in the wasteland.
It did.
Yeah.
It did exactly what I had no hype for it. Because like I'm still like I don't trust.
You were
I was
telling me to
Dave,
pump my
like,
brakes. You were like, Dave,
I was like, Dave,
don't get too
chill, bro.
excited.
Don't
Like,
get too excited. Because he's like early impressions are saying it's really good. I'm like, Dave, we have been here before, bro.
yeah.
Relax.
From that,
I don't.
I feel like from that first trailer, I knew like it was going to be pretty good, or it looked a lot. I feel like, I don't know. You can't really judge anything based on a trailer, but for some reason I saw that first trailer and was like, this actually looks good because it looks like they know what they're doing. It looks like they know the world. It looks like they understand what makes Fallout good.
I can tell if I like a show or a movie from its trailer. Usually.
I never can. I
Yeah,
feel like
I don't
the
wanna-
trailers do anything they can, any trick up their sleeve to make you feel like this is gonna be.
I mean,
awesome.
obviously
And I'm
that's
like,
what the trailers are made
See
for,
through their bullshit.
to like
Right.
advertise the movie and make you want to see it. But I try not to base my decision on whether I want to watch something just on the trailer. Like I'm sort of in the camp with you. Brandon. I'm like not really watching trailers, especially for movies and stuff these days. I'm just like, if it sounds interesting enough, then I'll probably watch it eventually.
If it's good, you don't want that shit ruined in any way.
And
All
all three
the
of
best
us,
you can.
all three of us are dads. We're busy. We have families. We have busy lives. We got to pick and choose the shit that we want to spend our time with. So like,
Correct.
we want to make sure that it's worth sitting down and watching this show, 8 episodes for an hour each. So it's a big commitment for
I didn't
something
know I
that
was
we
gonna
hope
even
is going to be
watch it.
good.
Right. I didn't know I was gonna even watch it, honestly, because the games didn't really resonate with me. So I'm like, even if the show's good, I don't know if I'm gonna care. I'm not into post-apocalyptic storytelling.
That's what makes the
But
Fallout
the
good,
buzz
though.
was just like off the chart. People are like, it is beyond good. It is beyond my expectations. So I'm like, all right, if it's that good, because people said that shit about The Witcher, and I'm like, I got halfway through the first episode, I'm like, I'm out. This is not for me. This is
Well,
almost.
Witcher's good too, but no,
Is
Fallout's got
it?
such
I
a
don't know. This
I
is
liked
way
I liked
better.
the first couple seasons.
quirky personality. When do you get like an apocalyptic
Right. This had
wasteland
style.
with that kind of like comedic twists to it, like where
Yeah,
it's almost
it doesn't
like
take
itself
tongue-in-cheek
too
comedy
seriously.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I think it's that tone and kind of stuff where that sets it apart. It's not
Music.
some
It's the
dirty
music.
grimy.
Something-
it
Something
does help,
serious
too.
happens, and then you can follow up with like people being killed in slow motion with like some 1950s
Happy little 50s
song.
music. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Something I also was thinking about, because like we have two examples of successful video game adaptations, one with The Last of Us, one with Fallout, but they both
Right.
took different approaches. The Last of Us is essentially the game, the first game. Like, if you watch the show, you basically don't have to play the Last of Us game because it's almost not exactly. Obviously, they took some liberties with some of the stuff, but pretty much everything
Right.
that's in the game is in the TV show. But with the
Good
Fallout
point.
TV show, they're taking the world, creating their own stories, which makes you want to go back into the world and play the games after you watch the show, which is exactly what happened
Right.
with me. 'Cause,
Good observation.
mhm.
I mean, that's what they were trying to do. I mean, I don't know. I think they were blatantly being like, okay, let's make a TV show so we can advertise our games. But it worked in that way, and they just happened to make a really good TV show that made you want to jump back into these worlds, into the games. Like, the numbers on Fallout 76 are like higher than they've ever been, after
It is
the
pretty
show
crazy.
dropped. So it's crazy how much of an impact this show had on the franchise as a whole.
Well, I was gonna bring it up. In the run of The Last of Us, it averaged, a little over 44 million users over its run in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And Fallout 7 or Fallout 76, Fallout the TV show in its first 2 weeks pulled in 65 million viewers. So I think
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just the word of mouth or what, because Last of
Dude,
Us
also timing.
had
What else was fucking going on?
That's
Like, there's
Right.
nothing going on right now. It was really good timing just for content in general. There's no
Well,
Major League Sports really going on, right? I feel like nothing's going on. You got-
hockey and
Yeah,
basketball
basketball
playoffs.
playoffs.
all right, but
Football's
yeah,
in the
and I like
off-season.
hockey, but like, yeah, but hockey's not like distracting people from catching up on shit. There's no TV show that's really like grabbing anybody right now. I feel like it was a really good time for Amazon and Bethesda to drop this, and
Something new.
I feel like Ring of Power had more viewers though.
Yeah,
But that's a known franchise, so they have a massive fan base.
That's Lord of the Rings.
Fallout is like coming out of nowhere. I'm again like outside of video games. I'm sorry, but I don't think it's known. I don't think anybody knew what Fallout was. So
No,
I didn't even tell my wife when she watched it with me that it was a video game adaptation. I just
did you like it?
kind of want to have like there's a stigma to it. So I didn't
Right.
want her to have a stigma to it. Where, like Last of Us
That's a good call.
has said that is a video game adaptation, but it's also known as like the greatest story in video games. So
Mhm.
let's watch it. And like a lot of people are saying it's amazing. Episode 3 is supposed to be like wow, So we watched it, and yeah, she had a great time. She loved it. Can't wait for season 2. Fallout. I'm like, hey, there's a show on Amazon that people are going crazy about. It's called Fallout. Let's watch it. She's like, all right, what's it about? I'm like, yeah, we'll just watch it. And it was a great experience. We crushed it in like a week.
That's yeah. I think that's
It's good.
It's such a thing that I want to hammer home too. Like, you don't have to be a fan of the games to get enjoyment out of the TV show. Like, they have, obviously, if you're a fan of the games, you'll understand a lot of the references and lore and stuff that's going on. But with the world itself that they're kind of presenting on screen, it all makes sense. They're not jamming any fan servicey references in there that feel like out of place or don't fit. it's
Rogue One.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
everything you see on screen makes sense in the world that they're presenting.
Very true. Very true. All right. Well, I think we're at a good spot here. Can I hit the big red spoilery button?
Hit the spoiler button, baby.
From here this point forward, I declare all spoilers legal and inbounds fair play. Because I want to talk about some of the actors and some of the fucking wacky shit that happened this season.
The actual show itself, sure, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we started.
Okay,
plot stuff.
We start out with Lucy. I mean, Lucy's in the vault,
Yeah.
you know, doing her thing, but just Lucy as a character in general, like as her progression goes throughout the season, like it kind of follows the video game format where you're like a happy-go-lucky, naive little person just walking out of the vault, and then you just start seeing horrible shit. I thought that through the course of the season, it was like a good first couple levels for Lucy to go through and gain some XP.
Yeah, I was gonna say they released the character sheets of all of the characters in the show, which was kind of cool that they actually have stats and you can go and
as
make,
in like I
build.
can make these characters in the game,
right?
Okay.
With the same stats. So yeah, it was like kind of each of these characters as their progression
you could tell,
through the series, they're like leveling up, you know.
Is personality one of them, and you get the Maximus, and you take personality, and you go all the way down to about 0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the first episode you can see when she was
though.
like, and I do marksmanship, and I help do I work in the junior pipe fitters club or whatever, and she's got that pose that's on like the one DLC, which is you know, they hide a lot of that stuff in there, but as her character goes through the season, like, you know, the okie dokie catchphrase has different varying levels of like oh shittedness, and there's a couple different deliveries of it which make me chuckle too.
Cutting a head off.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and like the head and the shrug, and you know, kind of like,
humor, always great. I love dark humor.
I really like that they chose to focus on 3 separate characters in the show, and they all come from different experiences in the, you know, with the wasteland and with this world. And I think that really helped flesh out the world even more because we have these different perspectives,
viewpoints. Yes, very much.
So, well, hold on, because like I agree. I think that worked. But when I think about The Mandalorian, that first season was very well done. And we follow that one character. Not once did we show anyone else. Go watch that first season, and you will notice every scene involves the Mandalorian.
Motherfucking Mandalorian.
And we follow his experience in all the world building and storytelling around. Now, again, that is a known franchise, so there's some liberties there. And I wonder if we only stuck with a Vault Dweller and only followed her story or his story from Vault to Wasteland, you know, would it have been a good experience? And it probably could have, but the thing about Fallout is there's a lot of factions that you can pick in the game.
Yep.
And as an outsider who dabbled a little bit with the video game, I was aware of Vault Dwellers, and I kind of knew about the Brotherhood of Steel, whatever. They're like kind of like the stormtrooper of Fallout, like the very recognizable visual when you show Fallout. They're like always on the cover of the games or whatever.
They're more like the Jedi, I feel like. Same, even if with their ideal,
like visually, they're just like maskless,
not really Jedi though. They're
faceless
dicks.
people. Yeah, but anyways, but I'm just saying, and then you have the
maybe
ghoul,
more like
and
Mandalorians.
the ghoul character, I didn't know anything about like that whole thing. I didn't play the games enough, maybe, or care enough to know that like eventually people turn into these ghouls. And for the TV show to tell me that, I thought like, yes, this is because he is my favorite character, probably a lot of people's favorite characters. So much so that they give him like two versions of him, because he has like that past version, like before the nukes happened, and then after. So I just thought that like,
because
you
got to build that world and see how it went from what it was to. He's like the
and using the gold. It was genius, of course.
Yeah, definitely. I like
very well done. So I think you needed those 3 characters to do this show. I think it was a very smart move.
and how it's important that there's they start out in their own separate places, and then the most interesting thing is how all of their stories converge at different points in the series and towards the end, and where they all end up, when the first season is over, because we can kind of see where it's going, where it's left off, and how they're setting up the second season with these characters. So it definitely has me excited for season 2. I don't know. I think the 3 characters was a smart move. I think it would have worked if you've just followed one, but I don't think it would have been as interesting because we wouldn't have gotten all those different facets of the world.
You need to learn, like, why the bombs were dropped and what it was like before. Why is the world got all this weird, like, different technology in it? It doesn't have. Where's my smartphones in this world?
That was some of my favorite stuff in the show, is seeing some of the pre-war stuff, because we don't really get to see that much in the video games.
I loved it. Yes, totally agree.
I was writing down some of my favorite scenes in the bombs going off scene, like in the pre-time. Like, that is just like, I know a lot of it's just CG. It's easy to make a nuke go off. You can probably do that with AI and pressing a button, but like, just the emotions where he's got his kid with him, and like, I don't know if it's because I'm a dad, like, what would I do in this situation? And he's fucking riding a horse through LA, and that was just a great, I don't know, kind of world building experience there. I liked, one thing I noticed and wrote down was the difference between, because you get kind of Lucy and Maximus teaming up about, a little bit into the show.
Yeah.
And they're both kind of naive in their own ways, but it's kind of opposites, where it kind of makes shit kind of funny, because he knows what the wasteland's like, and he knows he's got like some morals, but
that's all he knows.
He does not. He doesn't know how to trust.
Yeah, he doesn't know what regular life.
But she's like,
and he doesn't know like any. He knows zero luxuries about having fun or
and her ideals and morals, like those two,
to the point where he doesn't even like sex. He doesn't even want to have sex. He's like,
he doesn't know what it is or how to do it.
Or, dude,
that I find that hard to believe.
What a horrible experience. And she's just been like, sex is good. You got to do this, but don't have sex with your family. Like, it's just they're totally different people.
Her sex positivity is pretty hilarious. It's so yes. Hey, so you want to fuck? What's your sperm count? Just like talking about it at dinner. That first episode, I was writing down some of my favorite scenes. The Raiders taking over the, what is it, Vault 33?
Vault 33, yeah.
Like, you know that something's fucking going on, something weird. You see, I knew when I, for sure, you see the scars on his back, and like the little thing where they have sex or whatever, and he just like wipes his dick off on a curtain.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, okay, all right, I see what's going on here. Like, it's just like,
even
those
before
little
that
hints that they give you.
Even before that, all the people that came in from Vault, what was it, 30 or
31.
34 or 31,
they
whatever
ate like
it was.
Barbarians.
They were all dirty. They were all fucking
the one didn't know how to use
grungy.
silverware.
Yeah, so I'm like, these guys, either something really fucked up was going on in that vault, or they are not.
I thought they had. So I didn't know that they were raiders. I did not see that coming, but I did think that they had extreme incest, and they're just very like dumb, and like they're just like I didn't know. Which would have been interesting, but the Raiders makes probably more sense because that's a common thing if you play the video games, there's Raiders like all over the place. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just there's no rules. It's lawless, so it's
there's another faction.
Stay out of the way.
But I mean, that was, I don't know, a great intro as to like what the surface is kind of like, because in those first episodes, all you're getting is just the vault and the before times.
So I have a question about a lot about. I guess it's gonna bring in some of the ending of the show, which whatever. Obviously, we're in spoiler territory here.
Yeah.
But with the whole thing with the Raiders, obviously, Moldaver, the leader of this Raider faction or whatever, was working with Lucy's mom, right?
So she was part of the NCR, or National California Republic. So
Okay.
She was part of like the government that rose up after the bombs dropped.
Right. So if they're working together, I'm just confused because obviously Lucy's mom didn't like what was going on in the vault. She figured out all the stuff with Lucy's dad and everything, and she was trying to take Lucy out of the vault. But
She found out that like there's a community and like an actual town and like
Yeah.
people living on the surface. Yeah.
right. So she wanted to take Lucy out of there. But obviously that didn't happen. She got left behind, whatever. She told her dad told Lucy that her mom
Hank.
died. Yeah, Hank. So her mom didn't die, obviously. She just kind of escaped the vault and was working with Moldaver, correct?
Well, essentially she tries to take Lucy to the surface and like go live in Shady Sands.
Well, that's right.
And then Hank was that Shady Sands had a population.
Hank kidnapped.
Hank tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think Shady Sands had a population of like 37,000 people too. It's not like it was just like a little shit community, like you know that little scrapper town that they go to. It was an actual like town,
full blown
city.
Yeah.
And Hank, you know, he wouldn't let his kid leave the vault, so he fucking nuked the city and just took his kid back down in there.
Yep. And then Moldaver
He's definitely on the cold side.
used Lucy's mom's Pip-Boy after she was dead to unlock the vault to break in with the Raiders and then kidnap Hank. I'm just trying to make sure I got the story.
I don't know why
straight
she
here.
waited so long. I guess
That's what I was
Lucy
wondering
was a little
too.
girl.
Yeah.
Maybe she was getting her crew together, trying to recover
Right.
from being
Well,
nuked.
how did Lucy's mom turn into ghoul?
It's usually the radiation.
Yeah.
Radiation. Oh,
Radiation
kinda
poison.
eventually
Just
do
like
that
there
to
was
you.
inevitable, like it happened, like she couldn't, because like how did Moldaver, who's old as fuck, survive and not turn into a ghoul?
A lot
that.
of rat away.
That's what I was trying to figure out is if Moldaver was, because was she from before the pre-war time?
Yes,
Yes.
she's the first one to
So
really
she
start
might have been-
having the conversation that you can't trust Vault Tech.
Yeah. So I'm guessing she was probably cryogenically frozen or
yeah.
something
That makes
along
sense.
those lines. When she got out of her freeze chamber, she, started. I mean,
But they were like
NCR
lovers, right?
NCR and the games are like, it's another faction that like you can roll with, and I think it's Fallout.
Okay.
Fallout
New
2
Vegas.
and New Vegas.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're really big there.
But Moldaver, like that's her lover. Like her and Lucy's mother were, I think, dear friends, or they were like lovers.
Sure.
That's the vibe I got from them. So it's just that Moldaver just is more or less immune to the radiation, or she's just not around it enough. Like she just recently thawed. Like, was she around when Lucy? You know what I'm saying? Because like when
she
you
would
look
have
at her
been.
when
She
before
had.
the
She had to have been cryoed at some point because this is 200 years after the bombs dropped.
right.
Yeah.
She legit meets the ghoul when he's in human form and says, and she meets him, does her spiel or whatever, and talks about the truth behind Vault-Tec. But then she's also in the future trying to bring, not a revolution, but just open up the eyes to like the world. Like, hey, I know what really caused this. This is the world we're in. I don't know if she's good or not. She seems like she's good, like a freedom fighter.
Yeah,
but
at the end
still,
you find it out. The whole like first 9 episodes, or what is it? 7
you think
episodes,
she's like
you think
a
she's
scumbag.
a bad guy.
Oh yeah,
right.
You get weird vault.
I mean, she
vault
is.
form mutant
She
people
like
that
attacks
are...
like innocent Vault-Tec people to get this guy. Like she killed very nice people.
Well, some of them, whatever.
yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta get fucking Hank out of there.
She's got blood on her hands.
Sure, but freedom fighters, you gotta do some dirty shit when you're a freedom fighter too. Plus, I mean, that whole cold fusion thing, like I think it's the ends justify the means kind of rationale there.
Mm-hmm.
In the show, they make those things like a big deal, like a kyber crystal in Star Wars to make a lightsaber or something. It's a big deal to have one of those things. Those fusion cores.
The cold fusion. I mean,
but
fusion core, yeah, because that like
the fusion
basically
cores,
like a nuclear thing that just like plug it in.
It can
and
charge a city or it can charge a suit, like So in the video game, it's like you can fight like a monster and find one. So just like,
Yeah, that's true.
well,
Well, and like
weird.
Stimpaks, like Lucy gets stabbed and she just Stimpaks herself. Like Moldaver just dies at the end. You're telling me nobody was around with a Stimpak? Like,
No.
it's kind of good that
Mm.
they don't overuse the Stimpak thing too, because it would
Right.
get it would be pretty cheesy.
It's
if
not
it's like
overpowered.
I was almost dead and then I got a Stimpak.
Right.
No, it doesn't work like that. So
I don't even get the stim packs, but you're probably not supposed. It's like turn your brain off with that. How that works, right? Like
it's a healing
It's,
thing.
yeah. It's just drugs.
It's your HP regen in the game. So
so the show's great. The show's great. Am I allowed to complain at all?
Yeah, go for it.
I have
I want to hear
a whole bunch
some
of pros. I
complaints.
have one con. So
I have two cons.
okay.
Maximus and then his what is the meat boy? What are those guys that have to work that are assigned to the
Squire?
Brotherhood?
Oh yeah, the
Squire. Yeah, the Squire is annoying as fuck. Annoying. That actor was annoying.
I think it's
Oh,
supposed to be.
Whoa. Thaddeus? Johnny Pemberton?
Yeah. Oh my god.
I think
he
that's
was
the whole
so
point.
Annoying.
That is the point. I thought he was hilarious.
Not
he's
funny
great.
at all. Did not work.
What?
Did not land for me.
Because he's
Recast
just
him.
like he's the wacky guy. Like I know him from Superstore, which I always think of whenever I see him, but
Well,
Sure.
He was like he's the fucking bully. He was the bullied turn bully, basically.
Yeah, I get the point of
saying,
the
like,
character.
you
I
know.
just think the actor that they got for him was just like did not align with this
Well,
character.
I
just
think they
felt-
wanted to make him annoying and snivelly when he was under Maximus, because Maximus was basically getting his revenge for all the shit that he did to him while they were in the Brotherhood together. So
Right.
I think it made sense for that character. I could see how someone would think he's just an annoying person.
My complaints are very just personal. There's nothing really against the show. The show's fine. I just don't like that casting. And then Maximus, I like the character. I don't mind the actor, but I just feel like there's a lot of moments where like he underacted. Like I just feel like I don't care about this character. Like he could die and I won't care.
he's
I
pretty.
think he was
the
weakest.
He's kind of a dummy, and
Yeah.
like
I
I think
all he knows is the
he knows-
Brotherhood.
He's just too vanilla for me to care about.
Yeah.
Like Lucy and the Ghoul, I don't want them to die. I'm already after like the first or couple of episodes, at least the first episode. I'm like, I'm good. I don't want them to die.
I can
Maximus
sort of
never
see
had
the,
that connection.
I can sort of see just in his character, they kind of use him as a contrast to, because like Lucy and the Ghoul both have strong personalities. Lucy,
True.
at the beginning, anyways, is this
Good point.
bubbly
Good point. He's just
vault dweller.
never had a chance or a life to give him a personality. He just got shit on.
Maximus,
From the beginning.
He's bred to be a soldier. I mean, he was taken into the Brotherhood at this very young age, and like that's all he knew his entire life.
Right.
So like he had like
That's a
one
good
friend
point.
in
they
the
didn't even
Brotherhood.
teach him how his dick works.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
Right.
Come on.
And he had one friend, Eric, and that's why I'm chuckling over here because I can't. That Blaine character or whatever.
Yeah.
That there's no way that this person, could ever carry a massive, like duffel bag with like heavy machinery in there. I'm
to be a
sorry,
squire.
or whatever.
it's Dane, whatever. That person is way too petite and small to be recruited over. Oh, I don't know, Maximus, who is clearly like of a bigger size to carry that.
Well,
It's just ridiculous. It
I
just does
think
not look.
At the end, we
believable.
find out that Dane actually sabotaged themselves.
Yeah,
with the
That seemed
blades
like
in it.
a semi confession. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe I knew I couldn't carry.
Maybe they
this
knew,
shit,
like, no way,
It
I'm
was-
gonna fuck
yeah,
you.
they
See,
were
I weigh like
scared.
140 pounds wet.
Didn't want-
140
yeah,
pounds wet. You know, I'm not gonna carry him a gun that weighs like 100 pounds itself.
They probably knew
They
if they went out in the wasteland, they would just die immediately. So,
Right.
Yeah, you just get knights don't give a shit. They just get a new square. I didn't. One part I didn't like, and this was one of my cons, like the Michael Rappaport.
That also took me out of it just a little bit.
Wait,
Because
wasn't it Michael Rappaport?
Yeah, but because it's just
Because
every time I see him, it's
actor,
fucking
and I'm
Michael
like, man,
Rappaport.
okay. Because I actually like that actor, but I was like, who is this? It looks like a weird version of him.
I like how they
Okay,
Because he
portrayed.
had like the power armor shit on his head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's what it was. I haven't seen him in a while, but okay.
I like how they
that was him.
portrayed
Oh,
the
okay.
character as Titus and utilizing him, but like you said, Dave, just seeing his face, I'm like, okay, that's Michael Rappaport. He's in this show, as just like a cameo or something.
Same
it
thing
felt
happened
fine.
at the end too, though. Like I don't want to complain about what's his nuts from Portlandia.
Who?
Oh, he was fine. He was fine. With the radio guy at the the later
right.
episode,
I didn't even.
where the squire got the arrow in the neck. He Hank is no, my God, what was that guy's name?
Fred Armisen.
Thank you.
That didn't
Fred,
bother me.
the drummer.
Thank you. Google.
I don't know. For some reason, that one didn't bother me as much as the Michael Rappaport one.
It is,
Right.
I mean, their characters were fine and whatever. And
Rappaport didn't even bother me at all. Honestly.
They were in there for fucking 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
So it didn't take that much away from it.
Can I say one thing though? I'll say this, and this might not make a better show. Like, I'm not Jonathan Nolan or whatever, but when I was watching the show and Maximus replaces Lord, what is his?
Titus.
What is the soldier's? Lord
Titus.
I wanted to spend more time with Titus treating Maximus like shit. I thought the show was going to spend this whole time, take our time with this relationship. So Maximus fucking is trying his best, and he's going through and he's trying to help Titus. But Titus dies in the first fucking episode, and Maximus takes over, which is a cool story. I do agree that him taking over Titus's role and being Lord Titus and getting his own squire, I thought that was a cool story. I definitely like that, honestly, a lot. But man, I feel like there's a missed opportunity where we get, it just felt like, again, I don't know if I said this before, but I didn't care about Maximus that much. So if he died or not, because I felt if he was treated like shit, I would feel for him for so long that by the time his moment
he was already
took over
treated.
the
first moment we saw him, he was treated like shit.
He's getting the shit.
for dude, I know, but if it was Game of Thrones, we would do
well, that's just
Euron Greyjoy or whatever. He was tortured for seasons. I just want
I think it's just the effect
rush
of the first season of a TV show. They greenlit 8 episodes. They wanted to do as much as they could in these 8 episodes. They even said that they wished they had done more episodes in the first season, but obviously they don't know.
Me too.
They don't know with a first season of a TV show. They don't know.
Nobody knew where this was going to go. Yeah, they learned a lot this first season. I think the second season is going to be.
I bet it's going to be twice
better.
as long.
Just wait till
16 episodes.
Everything about, because they got a lot of feedback. Oh shit, this is a cool world. These are cool characters, but hopefully take your time now. Slow down, because what's the
Walking Dead started to have Fear the Walking Dead, and then I don't know, they had other random spin-offs on there. I could see
right. But we could have spent more time in the vault.
Different areas.
We could have spent more time in the vault. We could have spent a lot of time with Lucy in her vault before shit went down. This was a rush season.
What else do you need out of the vault? They're just a bunch of fucking dorks living in a hole in the ground.
I like that though, because it juxtaposes the stuff that's going on with Maximus.
They could make an entire
that shit in the first episode. I think it could have dragged out.
There's no drama happening in the vault.
Listen, they can make an entire spin-off show about different vaults, because we learn obviously
the vaults. That's my favorite part.
If you know the games, and they explain it in the TV show that every vault is a different experiment, so they're just fucking with people down there.
Unless you're super rich, then they don't fuck with you and they give you a perfect life.
Right, exactly. So they could make a fucking spin-off show just focusing on these different vaults. But when they went to Vault 4. And they had all those mutated people.
Dude.
You knew some shit was going on. And then that whole scene with the fucking blood ritual and all that stuff.
They don't know any better.
And they end up, I think I watched a video on this. I think those are all old Shady Sands refugees essentially that Moldaver brought down there.
Well, yeah, they tricked them with the little trap where they go into the medical room and then they get.
I think Moldaver, that's because they're all worshiping her down there. I think she ends up getting NCR people using that Vault 4 as a refuge to kind of stuff.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Well, that actor was from Saturday Night Live.
The
that
Cyclops
was
dude?
Another cameo. But dude, that episode was a fun episode because like you don't know if you can trust these people. You think they're up to something, but then at the very end, it's just like you think she's gonna be like put to death. I was like, no, you're banned with water.
I know, that was
everything
funny.
you need.
That was funny.
I was just like, they are so pure and innocent. They're like no different than her vault. You know,
sense of humor. That weird
Yeah, I love
dumb shit happens. Like when he's got the Cyclops eye and he puts on a pair of regular glasses to like read something.
Yeah.
It's so fucking dumb. It's so good.
Yeah,
My one con that I had in this whole thing, and it's a sound thing. It's the sound effect that they play whenever the ghoul is shown in like the first 4 to 6 episodes.
That's his theme. That's his theme.
No, it's like
the country theme.
His theme is fine. It's this weird sound effect where it's like
I know what you're talking about. That's his thing. It's like
it's a weird like tribal like thing going on in the background, like somebody's chanting or like doing something like.
I like that because
find yourself a different sound effect.
We know we're gonna get some more ghoul shit,
and they do that in other shit. We know, and they go to super slow mo. Is fine, whatever. But it's just that one sound effect that I can't.
They knew what they had
funny.
with the ghoul, so every time he was on screen, they had to hype him up.
We need to hype him up.
Yeah, exactly. Eric's right. I'm with Eric on this.
Throw on some 50 Cent.
In the club some 50 Cent.
Yeah.
So you mean some like 50s tunes? My atom bomb, baby. Atom bomb.
Exactly.
I've had that song stuck in my head.
I know. No, that was the only thing I didn't like about this whole
Your
thing.
only complaint, and dude, then you must have loved. So, all right, Dave.
Every episode had
but like
else.
as a Fallout fan, and you finally got this show, like, what was it like? Like, just talk me through, like, maybe the first episode. Like, what were your feelings like for this?
I watched only one episode at a time too, which was very difficult at times because
restraining yourself.
Well, the wife really liked it too, and she knows of my weird obsession that I've had with this game for a while. But it'd
be more weird if you were hiding it from her.
Yeah. I've just got this helmet hidden in the basement. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that.
I don't know what that is. Is that Star Wars Stormtrooper?
No, just having the public like introduction of Fallout to like the general masses be so good. It was such a nice feeling to have like something that I've loved for a long time. Like have such a like positive like coming out party. Like, hey everybody, look at me. I got some cool shit. I got some wacky shit. I got some fun shit, and everybody loved it. I mean, not everybody. 93% of people on Rotten Tomatoes loved it. So we're doing.
I can't imagine not liking it. Like, I can imagine, if it's not your cup of tea, but like to not like it.
Yeah, people.
Like,
I mean, like you said, not your cup of tea. People who don't like ultra violence or like sex or language, stuff like that. But that's more of a taste thing, not like a quality of show thing. Because I think the show
fuck was that monster with the fingers in its mouth. Like, what was that fucking thing? Like, did you have?
That was a golfer. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a problem with that? Like, was it just like what? Why would you give it a negative review?
I think this show is very well made. Like the set pieces, the set design of everything just felt
it
so
looked
Fallout.
So good.
And all the costumes, like everything was exactly what it needed to be.
I'm reading some of these rotten reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, and these guys just sound like big babies. One of them's in Spanish.
Let me hear one.
One of them's in Spanish. One of them's from an Indian guy. This one is, I wanted the Fallout series that was clever and surprising. What I got was a Fallout series that's good at finding new ways to display severed limbs. Fucking wah.
So he doesn't like
gore
mutilation,
and violence.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. The story in the video game is not like all that great. Like 4 is actually kind of stupid.
That's part of
the story.
Games is like blowing limbs off and shit.
Yeah, like that's the fun. That's the more engaging. The story, like, oh my god, the TV show did a way better job with the story than the video game. Go play 4 and watch the opening fucking level when your wife is killed or your spouse is killed in front of you. and they take your baby, and you're just like, you have no reaction to it, and you're just like, oh, it's just, I don't know, like it's
No, don't you go in
clunky
the vault there?
storytelling.
I thought
Oh,
You're
no,
starting a fucking
you're-
vault.
you were still in the
trapped in-
and you're-
cryo chamber
You're
thing.
frozen. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're frozen, and your spouse is killed in front of you, and you don't like
You're
react
still half
to it at
frozen.
all.
You can't move.
But even when you thaw out
Yeah,
and you
you
look at it, you're
cryo-bully.
just like go out there and you're just guns a blazing, you know. And then like you go to a town and they're like, well, we've never left here before, but we should leave. Like, well, there's another town we need an adventure to. Okay, great. It's literally 100 fucking feet away down that road past the gas station. Let's go. And it's just like, this is a clunky ass fucking story from a game that's made within the last 10 years.
It's
The
video
show
games.
miles apart. So I just can't imagine somebody play the video or watch the show, play the video game, watch the show, and said, "This is like what they said." Like I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I feel like you want to be contrarian. You just want to go against it. Like you can say acting is subpar. The visuals were under par. You can say, which I don't think so.
No,
but I'm
that's
just saying
true,
you can say
yeah.
things. But but for what they're saying with the story, I'm like, dude, that let's be real. That's a pretty tight, well-made, crafted story. I don't want to give it 100%, but fuck the guy that said that. Like, I don't know. I just totally disagree. Like,
Yeah, any of
it was
these
pretty
rotten
good.
reviews that I'm reading, I just think these people are kind of just douchies. Like,
Getting back a little bit to the story, I do really
Please.
like how they're setting up the second season and how the whole arc of the season, because the MacGuffin anyways for Lucy was finding her dad, and we see Hank at the beginning. Seems like a good guy. He seems like a
actor
a well-liked
looks
old
like he's
overseer.
a good guy, but you
Kyle
know he's not
MacLachlan.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Twin
guy- that
Peaks.
dude
He
is
always
fantastic.
plays somebody you can't trust.
But
Agent Cooper. You can always trust Agent Cooper.
right, yeah.
well,
so
from one show, he was a good guy.
So I thought the final episode was really good when Lucy
So
finally
good.
reunited with her dad, and it was a turn. Like he was behind this whole fucking thing. He worked for Vault Tech. He was in on the whole plan for the vault and like dropping
And I
bombs
love
and
it.
shit. And like
That was
They-
great.
the
Great
last
reveal.
the last scene where they set him
Plot
up,
twist.
they set him up as like the fucking villain for season 2 because he's in the power
Right, and you're
armor.
rooting from the first. Yeah.
You got New Vegas in the background. You know all kinds of fucking shady shit's going down there. So I'm super excited for how they're setting up the
that
second
last
season.
episode was a fantastic culmination to kind of like tie up all your loose ends, get everything out of the way.
Mhm.
You got the what's her name? The reveal of the lady that's not really the bad guy. She gets the cold fusion
Moldaver.
out.
Moldaver?
Moldaver.
Called
thank you.
Daver. Yep.
Turns on the lights for everybody, which is super cool. You get the information about the mom, you get the information about the dad, you find out that dad was really in the cryo chamber. You've got little brother who is in Vault 31.
Oh, yeah.
We
I
forgot about
forgot about
Norman.
that.
I like him.
We haven't even
Norm.
talked about what's going on in the vault because
Going
like
back-
her story has her own side characters where like everyone else like they like
Yeah,
Maximus
the
and the
vault
cool
keeps
they have
going.
side character.
Yeah.
But she does. She has a fucking brother. He has a friend. There's all these people trying to run down.
That's
that
like the
vault,
B plot, which is
I
still
wanna
really
see
good.
More of that.
Yeah.
Because
It's like some of my favorite to be honest
Because
with
it
you.
was
It's just-
nice to go
I'm a
to-
sucker for that.
because you're saying you wanted more Vault in the beginning, but you still get to go back to the Vault like every episode
Right.
to
Yeah.
see what's still
And
going on.
I think that's why the
because they're
show's good because you needed that story to keep it juxtaposed to the fucking wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
and the way that they just stick their head back in the sand, they just paint over the blood on the walls. They
Yep.
put up new things, and they just vote for a new
when they
overseer.
move into the new vault, yes.
And the new vault's all clean. Like you get that whole mystery of like what the fuck happened in this
Right,
old
what the
vault,
fuck's
and then you
going
go
on
back over there and everything's like new and cleaned up, and then you get introduced to your first Robo Brain when he sneaks into Vault 31,
Oh yeah.
which is a super cool thing from the game. Usually they're like attached to robots, but this one was like
Oh, there's more than one. I don't know
there's
anything
different
about
versions
those,
of
Dave.
there's different versions of Robo Brains where they can
Sounds like a
some are
Roomba.
combat. Yeah, there's some in games where like you walk into a room and there's like multiple brains on like shelves that are talking to you, and
Okay,
you know,
I want
there's-
more of that because, like I always
It's
say,
fucking weird stuff.
the secret ingredient to Star Wars is droids. I think it's like the reason why Star Wars is different from other fantasies is that they have these droids and they have their own personalities, and some of them are competent. Many of them, I feel like they're not competent at all. And what I like about some of the moments in the first season of Fallout is we encounter droids.
Oh,
I
how
don't know what
about
they're robots.
how
I don't
about
know what they-
Snip Snip there?
Yeah,
The
Snip
Mr.
Snip, you know,
Handy.
like, they're great.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent! Yeah, I love that we meet the guy that like did the voice of it and like
Yeah.
That was cool.
all that stuff. It was just so fun, and I just like the robots in Fallout. I want more of that. I want more Vault. I want to take our time with the story. I want to spend more time with like these robots. I want to also learn more about the ghouls, like before the thing
I'm
happened.
sure we
Make me
will.
care more about
yeah.
his wife. Make me
I mean,
like
that's his
really
mission. He's
fucking
trying to
sad
find his
when
family.
like shit goes down. Yeah. Yeah, what is that? I love the mystery. I love the mystery of the mom. I thought it was good for the first season, but like you know, I just want to see more mystery. Put it in there. Give me something long game shit,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
like, that we
all
can go
sorts
through.
of all sorts of weird shit's gonna happen at New Vegas. I can't wait.
Oh,
For
yeah.
that. We saw a skull of our
Is it
first
what second season is
Deathclaw.
going to be about? New Vegas?
That was the
Yeah.
stinger at the end, the final scene.
Okay,
Hank was
I must have
over.
missed that.
Hank was looking at New Vegas. He was on his way there.
Oh, okay.
Which could be
Okay, yeah.
Mr. House, which is the Robco guy with the mustache when they were all meeting in the
Yeah,
basement.
all the executives from
Like,
the corporations.
Completely forgot about like that whole reveal of the ghouls. What's his
That
name?
guy.
His
Cooper?
wife.
Cooper's wife.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cooper's wife ended up being like, I don't know. She's working for someone because she looks up and there's like some dude in the shadows that sent her something.
No,
at
it
her
was
at that point.
fucking dude. It was fucking the dad from Vault.
Hank?
Lucy's dad. It was Hank. It was young Hank up there that she looked at.
No, that wasn't young Hank.
Yes.
Young Hank is her assistant. I don't
Oh,
think
really?
that- yeah.
All right. I thought he had the same. It was
He
a
was like
silhouette.
he was like an intern, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you
I
can see that up
thought he was
there.
acting stupid like an intern, but he's really not. Like he's actually like one of the deep pockets. I could
And
be wrong.
I will find out.
I don't know what
Yeah.
I did really like now that you mentioned that. The whole I don't know if this is the lore in the games or if they even explain like how the Great War started, but the fact that all of these huge megacorps got together and decided like the end of the world is going to be profitable for us, so let's fucking end it and drop the bombs and fucking make some money.
Oh, the time thing.
Technically, in the game, I think in the game, China is like it's U.S. and China having like a Cold War thing, and eventually, I don't, Operation Anchor. I think it's a DLC in 3.
yeah.
Anchorage is, plays a part in that, but you don't know for sure that Vault-Tec dropped the bomb, but because one thing I was thinking, like, why would the mom drop the bomb when Cooper and his daughter are at like
Right.
a party in LA? Like, she's not gonna drop the bomb if she hasn't. She seems like she has some pretty good leverage there in Vault-Tec, but she would not drop the bomb if those two are just like hanging out at a birthday party in LA. So maybe it wasn't Vault-Tec. Maybe they wanted to, but then something happened. Who knows?
Yeah. So
I
we
can't wait
don't
to find
know
out.
100% sure, but like just that idea of these. I mean,
It was a pretty big twist there at the end.
Paul has always done a good job of like highlighting like corporations and corporate greed, and especially in America. And this show highlighted that even more with these like megacorps taking over essentially.
I want to ask a question, Dave.
Yeah.
How the fuck are there flying robots before these nukes happened? So did something happen in the Fallout universe where like people had
It's an
advanced
alternate
technology
future.
before?
It's an alternate.
It is, yeah.
reality.
The way they kind of explained it is that like after World War II, it kind of splits off from regular reality where everything's more focused on like nuclear
like
power
it's all
rather than
nuclear
like
energy.
like there's
Yeah.
no like microprocessors or transistors and stuff. That's why they don't have iPhones. They got these big old things, but like culture stayed a certain way where they like the 50s shit is still around, and all the cars that like you see the designs on them, they all have that like kind of art deco curviness to them.
Love the cars in Fallout. Yes.
All sorts of stuff. So like culture stayed like kind of stagnant, but like nuclear power they used for everything. Essentially, they put
Okay.
that's why cars explode like that in Fallout in the universe, is because every car has like a nuclear reactor in it, essentially.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a weird alternate history.
It was still like, even when the bombs dropped, it was still in the future from present day. It was 2077 when when Cooper was at that party. It was 2077.
What?
Yeah, and then
no, I thought that was like 1960 or something.
well, that's
like that.
the thing. It's
That's how
they
have
kept
flying
that
robots and
aesthetic.
shit, and-
Yeah, like they were
Oh
stuck in
my
that
God,
era
but
of
they were
like,
stuck in that
the aesthetic.
style. No, wait. When did they like articulate that was going on?
They do it
Did
in
they
the
ever
games.
say that?
It's like, I don't know.
I don't know if they say. I don't know if they have a date in the beginning of this. I forget.
Yeah, it's.
I don't think the TV show ever says the fucking year.
It does.
You just
It does.
assume-
There's one point, if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. But there's one point in when they go to, what is it? Shady Shores,
Sands.
Shady Sands. Or no. It's when they're in Vault 4, I think. There's some blackboard with the history of everything.
Yes,
It shows years.
That's when Lucy is looking at Vault
4.
the
I
one
think.
with the mutants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's when
4.
she's in Vault
Yeah.
4, in the school classroom.
Yeah.
It
There
shows
was a
all
lot-
the
okay.
years of everything that happened, all the
Right,
major
because she learns
events.
about how like the city was made. They had their
When she exits the vaults, it's 2296. So it's 219
Oh,
years after
fuck.
the bombs were dropped.
Okay, damn. All right, I missed that part. Well, there you go.
Mhm.
That is so interesting.
Whole show is so interesting. I really can't wait to see this next season. I want
it's
to
got
go
me
like
hyped.
complete blackout. I want to tell Google that I do not want any goddamn Fallout news, just unless there's a game
Stop
coming
watching
out.
your trailers.
I'll probably watch a trailer, but
Don't do it.
I don't want to watch trailer breakdowns. I don't want to watch like all these Easter eggs you missed in the trailer.
Right.
Check it out. Some asshole's face pointing at a thing. But
Right. Vault
any-
14 is gonna have Denzel Washington as, and like,
No.
I don't know any of that.
Please don't ruin the
No.
show.
please, anything you guys want to get in before we get
There's
out of here?
One thing.
Yeah.
We didn't do social up front because we didn't really have any, but our good buddy Tejas over there on the Discord, nomadsoffantasy.com/Discord, if you want to hop in there. He did share his thoughts because he did
Oh yeah,
watch
yeah.
the
Let's hear
show
that.
as
He
well.
always has an excellent opinion.
He says, Fallout was a show that could have failed very easily. They could have messed up so many things in so many ways, but they did the opposite. Lucy is very likable. Maximus is interesting and easy to side with. The ghoul is complex and the best way to feed information from the past as an immortal story piece. Really enjoyed the show, and the people who knew nothing about Fallout really enjoyed it as well.
Fuck yeah.
He always
Welcome
has
to
the
my
best,
world
reviews.
now.
Yes.
I was going to say, basically summed up our conversation that we just had. So thank you, Tejas.
Sweet. Well,
It's
I'm
a
glad
good
you
place
guys
to end.
enjoyed it, because I have a feeling it's going to be around for a little bit longer.
I know.
So
I'm excited. I'm
hopefully they
excited that
start-
Fallout's back in the zeitgeist.
Start pumping out some side games. Like, we don't have to make every game
They've
a
been-
super giant RPG game.
There've
We can
been
make
rumblings
some...
about that, and it makes sense because the only side game in the series is New Vegas, and Microsoft owns Bethesda and Obsidian, which made New Vegas, so they could team up with both of them to make another Fallout side game.
Well, I don't even need like an actual Fallout game. Like Fallout Shelter, the mobile game. Like,
I was gonna
that
say, like,
good.
give me stuff like that. I just
little
want to do vault
random-
stuff.
They could
like,
do a ton of
random
stuff
Fallout
with
stuff.
with the franchise.
Let me
yeah.
make like 10 vaults and do
Twin
experiments.
stick
on them.
shooters.
Like that's all I want to do.
Give me a
Yeah,
farming
Vault
sim.
Experimenter would be fun.
Give me a Fallout farming sim where I'm, managing water purifiers and fucking,
Yeah.
other crops and shit. These
Yeah.
what are the two-headed Brahmins? Raise some
Yep.
Brahmins out there.
You guys should look up some of the weird experiments they did in some of these vaults. They're pretty fucking hilarious, some of them.
I like the one where it's all men and one woman, and then all women and one man. Like,
There was-
that was really
That's
fun.
Like,
There's
some of them are
the
hilarious. They program the water chip to break after a certain time just to flush them out to the surface
fuck with
and see
them.
what happens.
there was one that was interesting because I was just playing Fallout 4 as well because it got me back into wanting to play that. And I was following the main mission, and you go into one of the vaults that's like built into a subway station, which is pretty cool. So it's like a vault that was made on a budget, but the whole purpose of this was to basically make the vault as shitty as possible. So like cramped living quarters, shared bathrooms. And then they took rich people who thought they were going into a nice vault and put them into the shitty vault. I thought that was a good one.
Like, it's so good. There's ones that are like filled with clones. There's ones that are, there's ones that created the super mutants, and there's ones that were creating like the death claws and some of the other weird.
We're gonna see that stuff in season 2. They show in the credits sequence, which I really like. That's one thing we didn't mention. Like the credits sequence of each episode is different, and it's like they do these scenes. It zooms out, and it's really
zooms
cool.
out of like all the places you just hit on in this episode, and I love that.
But in the last one, they start in New Vegas and zoom out, and you see like a death claw skull. Yeah. So like a lot of that's coming in season 2.
Yeah. Excellent job. Excellent debut and how to show a fairly popular franchise with one group, but open it up to the general public. I thought Jonathan did a good job with the show. Jonathan Nolan. I thought Amazon, good for them to have the, ability to say, hey, this is something we should do, spend some money on it, get some talent, and they did it. And then for the gamers, we're getting better adaptations. So everything about this was just the win. Everything about this was like everybody got what they wanted and for Todd Howard to, like you said, come up with this TV series on their own, say, hey, we should do this. I think that's even cooler. And then for them to do it, and it's a good TV show. Good for them. And I'm excited about season 2.
Sweet.
Keep it coming.
Nice. All right. Well, let's wrap up. Let's take a little break, and we'll go hide in our vault for a little bit. Juice up on some stim packs and rataways. And when we come back, we will play a quick game of 20 questions. Right after this. And we're back. We're about to play a quick game of movie 20 questions. I'm going to get my trusty notepad out here.
You say movie 20 questions?
Yeah, movie 20 questions. I figured, switch it up because you guys don't know a lot about the Fallout universe, so I'd keep it something
don't
in your...
lump me. I know enough to
in your general wheelhouse.
Brandon's like, I don't fucking know anything.
No.
We'll see. Rules of the game, we get 19 questions and one guess. You can ask me yes or no questions. And it can be any movie ever created. So
created.
Welcome.
Any movie
ever in the history of the world.
Like Debbie Does Dallas could be like on the table, basically.
Yeah.
Or wow.
What was the first one called? Like train moving or whatever. What was the train?
Oh yeah, we're right. Like it's like 20 seconds long.
Yeah, just a fucking train pulling into the station.
Little flip book with a horse running.
Oh my god. Yeah, right. Right. That shit.
20 questions.
Well, all right, Dave. Well, let's eliminate that, Eric. Was this movie made after the year 2010? January 1st, 2010. No. Okay.
I'm thinking this. Was this movie made before 19 or was this movie
1989?
I was going to say, yeah, what was this movie made before 1980?
Yes.
Whoa.
I feel like I know what it is.
Old one. It's an old one.
Was this
like Logan's Run?
Was this movie made after the year 1970?
Yes, it was.
Whoa, Eric. Well, just say it. What do you think it is?
I told you it was gonna be a quick game.
Does this movie feature a post-apocalyptic world?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's Mad Max.
Fucking like? It is Mad Max. Is this movie made in the 1980s?
No, it's 70s. No. Mad Max was made in 1979.
Are you cheating?
Oh my god! How do you know this? All right, hold on a second. Is this based on a franchise with multiple entries in the movie series? Like movie? Like it's got like multiple movies in the franchise?
Yeah, there are multiples.
He's acting like he doesn't know.
Does it
I read
star
the wiki over here. I gotta look it up.
Does it star
Does Mel Gibson start?
Mel Gibson is in this movie.
Hold on,
Is this
wait.
movie a sequel?
Yeah, okay, there you go. But I think the sequels were made in the 80s, so I think we're safe with the first one, but we'll just was this the first in the franchise? First movie in the franchise?
The first.
This is the first in the franchise.
All right.
All right.
Hold on a second. So the first one is different from the rest, right? Because the popular one was like the sequel, and the third one or Beyond the Thunderdome.
Yeah, Thunderdome.
The first one is a little more laid back, a little bit more.
I might like the first one the best.
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Dude, you understand when I say the first one, right?
Yes, Mad Max, the original Mad Max movie. Yes, I like that movie. I think it's Mad Max. It's gotta be.
It's got the very extremely low budget.
Yep.
The first Mad Max.
I hate you.
Yes.
I hate you both.
Okay.
This is Mad Max.
It is Mad Max.
As soon, well, I had that in my head.
Eric already knew it before we even started.
I had it in my head because I'm like, what's the closest approximation to Fallout in the movie universe? And I was like, Mad Max. I'm just gonna go for Mad Max, see if that's it.
I was trying to think of something I could have done, like Clash of the Titans from 1972 or something random like that. But no, you guys know me too well. I stay on topic.
Wow, Eric.
I was like, if it's on topic, it's probably Mad Max.
Yeah.
I mean, that one lasted about a good 5 minutes. I told you it was gonna be quick. You want me to pull
well
up
done.
a quick video game?
We're out of here, everybody. Thank you for coming.
I know. I feel that was like a little anticlimactic there, but
that's fine. Usually, sometimes these drag out for like 20 minutes.
First,
so.
we solved it.
Under 10. You guys got it in 7. So
that's got to be a record.
Not like 4 questions.
8.
Oh, 8.
Got it
okay.
in, so.
I was gonna say we used extra ones too. I could have just is this Mad Max right away.
Is Mel Gibson in this?
That is true.
Yeah.
You did burn a couple. So, all right. Well, that one is come and gone already. So
hey, well, what's up next? I forget. Is it Netflix
games.
video games?
Yeah.
Whoa! Yeah. Did you know that if you open up your Netflix app on your phone, you'll come across a curated list of games, and you can download them right there on your phone and play them. Some of them are awesome. Some of them are not. I think we're gonna.
There's a mixed collection. Like there's some real good games in there, and some some shitty mobile games.
Games that are good, but you probably should not play it on your phone. You should probably play it with a controller.
Yeah,
that sells.
But we could get into that. There's ways to play on your phone with a controller too.
Between now and then, please.
Oh, I didn't know.
I don't think many people know that the Netflix app even has games.
Yeah.
So
well, there you go.
That's the educational purpose.
Yeah.
That's why
if you have Netflix, you have this whole library of games that we're going to talk about. So
and who doesn't have Netflix? So all right, Eric, why don't you hit us with some socials and let's meander into the wasteland.
I'll take us home, country road.
If you Eric.
You want to follow us on the socials, you can follow us at Nomads of Fantasy on pretty much anything. At The Nomads of Fantasy on TikTok. Just search The Nomads of Fantasy on Google and you'll find everything.
No one else has our name. We're good. We're good. Yeah, that's our name.
Yep. YouTube, Discord, most importantly, thenomadsoffantasy.com/Discord. We want to chat with you. We love it. We're always getting suggestions for new stuff cover. So, we'd love to have anybody hop in there, chat with us, talk about games, movies, just shoot the shit, whatever. But yeah, this was a fun conversation. Glad we got to talk about some Fallout.
You're not the only one.
Yeah.
I feel like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah. So Dave finally
got
his.
Dave, you got to do Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and Fallout in like 3 episodes in a row. You must be like, oh my god,
nerdery all over.
Get all my geekness out. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, nerd.
Well, yeah, that was fun. But until next time, safe travels.
Safe travels, wastelanders.